All right, Nuggets fans, welcome in to Pickaxe and Roll, brought to you by good friends here at Mile High Sports and FanDuel. I am your host, Ryan Blackburn at NBA Blackburn on Twitter, part of the Mile High Sports Podcast Network. I am here. I am ready to discuss the Denver Nuggets. Very excited to be live in the number 38 series studio, brought to you by Volo Sports. Very excited. And I think the Vimos app. Is that correct, Danny?
That is correct.
Yes, let's go. It's been a couple weeks since we've been in, so I'm a little out of practice, but very excited to be here. You hear Danny Bailey on the mic. Thanks for being my producer today, Danny.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to some Nuggets basketball finally after a couple days off.
It has been a little bit, and Denver, fortunately, after the injury stuff that they've had to deal with, they got a couple of days off. They got a little bit of time to rest, recuperate, figure out exactly how they are going to approach not just this game coming up at the end of this road trip, Danny, but a season now that I think sort of changes a little bit in terms of the tone now that you are missing one of your starters for what I'm going to guess is about a quarter of the season. It's a very unfortunate injury that hit Christian Braun on Wednesday night. Denver playing, of course, on a second night of a back-to-back against the Los Angeles Clippers. Got a really tough assignment against James Harden. And fortunately, Denver didn't have to go against Kawhi Leonard. They probably would have won anyway because the Clippers are a mess right now. But it was still interesting to see Denver sort of figure it out and be really great. And obviously, you guys saw my reaction to Nikola Jokic on Thursday morning, where he drops 55 points. Was an incredible game. Absolutely unbelievable. But the big ramification from that, and we talked about it a little bit in that second segment, big ramification was that Denver's now going to be without Christian Braun for the foreseeable future. I was waiting for a while, trying to figure out when they were going to drop the news, but Danny, unfortunately, we got a pretty not great announcement. It could have been worse, let me be clear, but we got a pretty tough announcement from Denver yesterday that Christian Braun is going to be out for 6 weeks at minimum, and then they will reevaluate him with a left ankle sprain. Cam Johnson goes down in the same game. He's more day-to-day. We'll talk about the ramifications of both of those injuries on today's episode. We'll talk about the Nuggets game tonight against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I've got some rotation ideas that I want to drop into the chat as well. But Danny, when you saw Christian go down and the way that things were looking at that point, what was your immediate reaction based off of the way that he looked?
Oh, my reaction was maybe they should have held on to Russ.
Oh,
that was my first thought.
That was not what I was expecting.
But my other thought was, obviously, I hope CB gets back real quick. But it seemed like he was kind of getting off to a slow start as it was. And I wish that he didn't have to miss this time now because it's just going to take him that much longer to get back into the flow.
Yeah.
And that's going to be tough coming in, like you said, maybe a third of the way through the season.
Yeah, I think it's a fair take. I didn't have that same reaction because I look at the positions that they play and think, okay, I still think that Christian more of a wing, Cam Johnson more of a wing, more of a forward. I'm thinking about their depth at those positions specifically. But I mean, to be fair, Russell Westbrook triple-double last night. I caught some flack for calling the rebound attempt that he had weird. There were a lot of criticisms of your boy on social media for daring to question the efficacy of the rebounding that he was going for, trying to go get that triple-double last night for a team that was down as much as they were. Doesn't matter. Russ got the triple-double, and maybe he would be helpful. He probably would be helpful. I don't see, like, it's pretty clear that Denver could use another initiator at some points. A lot of the lineups that they are playing, like the sixth man coming in, Tim Hardaway Jr. a lot of the time, he's not a point guard. He's a shooting guard. He's an off-ball player. What they do in those situations is they have Christian Braun initiate a little bit, Cam Johnson initiate a little bit, Aaron Gordon initiate a little bit, but really it's Nikola Jokic, who is the de facto point guard in a lot of those lineups. Very similar to, when they won a championship, when they actually were really good, and they sort of found a way to figure
It's
it out.
worked for him for a long
It's
time.
been pretty good. Like they're 9-2. I didn't think that it was as much of a need as a lot of people seem to think, but it's when you start to have injuries, it's when you start to have absences that having a good basketball player could absolutely be helpful. Shocker. It would be nice, like hypothetically, instead of Hunter Tyson, that they were able to still retain Russell Westbrook, but them's the breaks, them's the Calvin Booth breaks. But that wasn't the only reason that Russ isn't back. I do think though that circling back around to Christian Braun, Cam Johnson, that it would be fine if both of those injuries happened individually, but the fact that they happened at the same time, it puts a lot of strain. It puts a lot of strain on Denver's depth and on the lineups that they are then putting into the game. They started the second half of the Clippers game with Tim Hardaway Jr., who started a whole bunch of games last year for the Detroit Pistons. It completely makes sense why they did that. And Spencer Jones, who is a two-way player, who is somebody that I don't think a lot of people initially expected Spencer Jones to be the guy that they were able to rely upon in this situation. But hey, he has earned that time. He's earned an opportunity. He's going to play more as a result of, like, we don't know what Cam is going to look like from an injury perspective, how long he's going to be out for. Like, it was a right bicep strain that they listed him as on the injury report yesterday, but he is day to day, according to Vinny Benedetto of the Denver Gazette, friend of mine who is really good at his job. You guys should go follow him. I think that without those two guys on Saturday today, it will be tough, obviously, even though Minnesota's on the second night of a back-to-back. We'll talk about that in the next segments. But going forward, it's going to be very fascinating to see how Denver breaks down their overall rotation. So I put together, Danny, as I like to do, I put together a rotation chart. Going to throw it up on the screen here for folks. Hard to see for a lot of people, but effectively what's happening here is I've got Tim Hardaway Jr. and Peyton Watson sliding in as starters, and then Denver plays a 9-man rotation with Bruce Brown, Julian Strawther, Spencer Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas coming off the bench. To me, that makes the most sense. It means the guys that aren't playing are Jalen Pickett, Zeke Naji, Hunter Tyson. I think that makes sense to me logically, given that they lost a couple of wings. You want your wings in that situation to play. But Danny, if Denver is in a situation where, yeah, this is just what's going to happen. Jokic has been unbelievable. Jamal Murray was down on Wednesday, but overall has been really good for the season. Aaron Gordon so far has been really good so far this season. What's the issue with losing a couple of wings if your three best players are still out there on the floor?
100%. You're not losing minutes that you're taking away from Jokic because those are going to Val. So you have some options, but at the same time, I mean, it's a little concerning if they're already cutting it down to 8 and it's or I guess mid-November now. But it seems like they're going to have some guys really step up in ways that they haven't in the past, because you need some points out of guys like Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther, and you're going to need more points out of like Bruce Brown. You're going to need Jamal to be more consistent. So it's making the workload a little heavier, a little earlier than I would like to see. But at the same time, maybe it's good for this team to get a little bit of an adversity test early on here.
That's a great point. And I like that point a lot, because Denver hasn't faced a lot of adversity to start this season, I would say. Like, now, to be fair, it's only 10 games, and then in the 11th game, the adversity hit. But the two games that they lost were on opening nights in overtime, where Steph had 40 points. You're okay with the way that goes. It sucks, but you're okay. Then the next loss was against Portland, and they were up for like in double digits in that game. They had control, ultimately kind of let it slip through their fingers, but it wasn't adversity. It wasn't like they were down the entire time and then it looked like they were completely overwhelmed. That's not how it was. This is the first time that adversity has actually hit, and you want to see how teams respond in this situation, You want to see if Denver can trust other guys in this situation where, whether it's Bruce Brown, maybe he's the guy who starts instead of Tim Hardaway Jr. Because, I mean, Tim's been great coming off the bench and giving them a spark for a scoring perspective that way. Maybe they keep it as Spencer Jones as the starter, and he's more of a de facto starter, and then Peyton Watson comes off the bench. His role expands, but you wouldn't be surprised if Spencer Jones is the guy that they're just like, you know what, we're going to place you on the best player. But these are things that they get to learn about their team. These are things and ways that they get to learn about who they are. And I do find that very valuable. According to FanDuel right now, we'll read a couple of futures that I think are interesting and pertain very much to how this is going to go. Nikola Jokic is back up to second in MVP with the way that he has played. He's plus 200. Shea is plus 150. If they are going to survive in this stretch and stay at second in the West, second place in the NBA, basically behind OKC, I don't think anybody's really touching OKC, and that's okay. If they're going to stay there, then that means that Jokic is going to continue to go off. He's going to continue to be spectacular, and the Nuggets are in a really good place if he is like doing what he is supposed to do. The other thing, the regular season wins. Denver, it's a number that I've been looking at. 55 plus regular season wins. Denver's still at minus 215. That's gone up. It's the odds have shortened. They've gotten worse. You get less for your money in that case because Denver's been so good. They have shown what they can do. They didn't really shift that much because of the Christian Braun injury, because of the Cam Johnson injury. I don't think that they are shifting that much. I think that what Vegas is still thinking and what FanDuel here is still calculating is that Denver's going to be okay. It's just going to get a little bit more difficult. It's just going to get a little bit more stressful from a night-to-night basis because, I mean, let's face it, you're missing 60 minutes a game, and that's a lot. That's a lot of time that you could be without. And fortunately, I mean, not fortunately, because you would like to see Christian and Cam kind of figure some stuff out, but they were the guys that weren't playing well in Denver's starting group. The other three, Jokic, Murray, Gordon, you know exactly what you're getting from those guys every single night. They've been unbelievable as a trio to start the season. Christian's been a little shaky. Cam's been a little shaky, a lot of shaky. But what you lose from those guys is the on-ball skill set, the on-ball defense skill set that Christian is going to give you. You just know that he's going to be the guy that you deploy on the opposing team's best player on every night. And so that's something that they're going to have to replace. With Cam Johnson, I'm not sure what you're missing yet because he's done a lot of different things, but there's no like individual skill set that I'm like, okay, they can't find this again. Whether it's the perimeter defense, Bruce Brown can pop in, Peyton Watson can pop in. If it's the spacing, Tim Hardaway Jr. is going to pop in. If it's just another big body, Spencer Jones can pop in. Those are like Cam Johnson is the perfect jack of all trades kind of player. He just hasn't played fully up to standard quite yet. But I'm not sure where Denver's going to miss him most. Maybe it's the initiation. Maybe it's the passing, some of the stuff that he's done in playmaking for Jokic and others. That would not surprise me at all. Danny, does the fact that he's going to miss until Christmas, does that change? Like, because I said 58 wins before the season. I said that as the number that I was predicting. I said no more, no less. It's going to be 58 wins. They were pacing for even better than that, although they didn't play that strong of a schedule initially. Does this change your perspective on that number, given that like he's going to miss about 20 games?
Given a quick look here at the schedule, I mean, I think there's a lot of winnable games in that stretch. So maybe it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Because I think the latter half of the schedule is a little tougher.
I would
the stretch.
Certainly agree with that. Well,
so I think it might be kind of a sweet spot for them to actually to not have him, even though obviously he would make it a lot easier. Now you get to see what you have with some other guys. You get David Adelman to play around with the lineups, maybe find something he wouldn't have found otherwise. But it's a concern for sure. Like I said, I don't want him to come back and have to work all the way back up into it when it seemed like he was off to a slow start, in my opinion. But
no, for sure.
I don't know.
Let's go through it actually, and it's the last thing we'll do before we hit a break. Denver plays at Minnesota tonight. Then here's the next 20 games or so that they have. Let's go until Christmas. I think that's like 18 games. They'll play versus Chicago, at New Orleans, at Houston will be tough. Then they back-to-back versus Sacramento. We'll see how tough that actually is. It's going to be hard to win that game 3 or 4 times in a row. At Memphis, then they've got a break over Thanksgiving before they get home versus San Antonio. That'll be a tough one. Then they go at Phoenix on a back-to-back. That'll be a tough one. Those are like not trap games because I just don't expect them to win that one. But like after spending off for Thanksgiving with your family and resting, you get back up versus San Antonio, and then you immediately have to turn it around and go play
get on a
team
plane
like
right to
like,
Phoenix.
And you blew them out on like your home opener. They are losing that game at Phoenix. They come home versus Dallas, then they go back on the road. My birthday at Indiana, then at Dallas, then at Charlotte. That is your 3-game Eastern Conference road trip there. Then they come back home. There will be a couple of games in between this large break for the NBA Cup, the in-season tournament that they're doing. There will be a couple of games that are digitally inserted there. And so it won't be a full break, but that's okay. Then they come home at versus Orlando, versus Houston, versus Utah. 1-game road trip at Dallas. Then they come home for Christmas versus Minnesota. It's not an easy stretch, but it's also not a tough stretch either. Like this is a pretty average level of schedule. You don't play OKC. You do play Houston, and you play them multiple times. Like Houston's been really good. So that'll be one that you would like to have Christian Braun and Cam Johnson for to match up with Kevin Durant and some of the players that they have over there. They'll probably have Cam Johnson for those games. But I could see them like, what is that? That is 17 games, 18 games, 17 games, another 2 digitally inserted. I'll say that they go 11-8 during that. Maybe even better than that. Like let's say 12-7. 12-7 during that stretch. They're currently 9-2. So that's my official prediction. They go to 21-9 after when Christian Braun is potentially going to come back on Christmas Day. I don't think he'll actually come back for Christmas Day. I think it'll probably be sometime during that
What a gift that would be, though.
7-game road trip that they have to play after Christmas. Merry Christmas,
crazy.
guys.
That's brutal.
Merry Christmas. Go on the road for 7 straight games. Good Lord. I'm looking at that schedule. That is painful. But yeah, that would be a great gift if they were able to get it. And it would be nice to see if they could make that happen. We'll see what ultimately becomes of it. But I think that Denver, they're still okay. Like it just makes it harder. It just makes it more difficult, but it doesn't make it impossible. Now, Nikola Jokic is questionable. He's got a left wrist sprain. He had the right wrist sprain that he's been dealing with forever, but I do know that like Denver's going to be fine. Like they're going to be okay as long as they've got their top 3 guys. And if they have them, like for the vast majority of this 19-game stretch that they're going to be on without Christian Braun, this quarter of the season, basically, then they'll be just fine. So, all right, let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to discuss the rest of the Western Conference. I actually want to bounce around the rest of the West really quick, and then we will preview tonight's game again of Nuggets versus Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll be right back here on Pickaxe and Roll. This podcast is brought to you by Delete Me. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone feel vulnerable. Data brokers, they profit off of your data. It's a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. Have you ever been the victim of identity theft, harassment, doxing? If you haven't, you probably know someone who has. Delete Me can help. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to deleteme.com/hit and use promo code HIT at checkout.
The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/HIT and enter code HIT at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/HIT, code HIT.
All right, we are back. Pickaxe and Roll, Ryan Blackburn here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Danny, why don't you throw that one up on the screen? This guy says, Ryan, you piss me off sometimes. Why? What did I do? Like there's probably plenty that I have done, but I don't know the time this time. So let me know in the comments, and I can try to assuage you of your concerns. All right, we're back. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're live from number 38 here as everybody kind of gets ready for the college football day that's happening. I'm watching on the screen over here. My South Carolina Gamecocks are up against the Texas A&M. Did they just boink a 25-yarder? I think they did. Like Texas A&M just boinked a 25-yarder. That's pretty funny. So gotta love it. Okay. Still haven't heard from Jason here on why I'm pissing him off. So let's just move on. Let's talk now, Danny, about the Western Conference, because I haven't done a check-in on the West in a while, but want to kind of go through some of the standings that we're seeing right now, because it's nice to check in and see, okay, how is the rest of the West doing? Like, where does Denver stack up? I do think that because Denver's only played 11 games, they've only banked 9 wins. Like their record is really good, but unfortunately, like they haven't banked so many wins now that they have risen above the rest of the West. And here's what I mean by that. OKC is 12-1. They are unbelievable on the defensive end. They've been very, very good. That's a team I don't think Denver's going to catch them under any circumstances. They're 12-1, and Jalen Williams hasn't even played. They're going to probably crack 70 games. Denver's at 9-2. They are by themselves in the win-loss record in the win percentage column. But Houston is 8-3. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 3 in a row. Their point differential still really, really good. The Lakers are 9-4. I still don't believe in the Lakers. You look at their point differential, it's plus 0.2. I don't think that they are a 9-4, like 69 win percentage kind of team. That's just not where, like, that's not the quality of team that they are. They're probably going to win about 48, maybe 50 games.
This has all been without LeBron, though, right?
Well, I mean, you could understand why they're winning. So just kidding. No, Luka's been awesome when he's been healthy, and Austin Reeves has had some crazy games, but they've also had some games without those three where they've won fluke games anyway. Detroit has done this too in the other side of the bracket. Detroit, by the way, 11-2. They've won 9 in a row, and Dennis Jenkins and some of the other like players that they have, like I had no idea who Dennis Jenkins was, but he's balling out for Detroit right now. They've been winning without Cade, Jalen Duren. Like last night, they won against the Philadelphia 76ers and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Joel Embiid did not play.
What?
Sorry. He's in a lot of pain, guys. It sucks. But Detroit won without like any of their top 4 or 5 players. Like Asar Thompson didn't even play. And Tobias Harris, I'm not sure if he played, but it felt like he didn't play against Philly. And like that's a team that they should have been able to win, but Detroit's been winning a lot of these games. Their culture is really good, but they're also a team that is prone to probably come back to earth. I think the Lakers are very much in that same tier as the rest of the West continues to put on the onslaught. Minnesota's won 4 in a row. They are 8-4, right behind the Lakers. The Spurs are 8-4. They've lost 2 in a row. They lost 2 in a row to the Golden State Warriors, who are recovering after what was a really embarrassing loss that they had against OKC, where it was just like Curry couldn't get open. Their offense was horrible, and the Thunder just put the beating on them. Phoenix is currently 8-5. I don't think that holds, but they've won 5 in a row, so good for them. Golden State 8-6, or is it say 8-6 or 6-6? No, it says 6. No, it says 8-6.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my eyes are going. Maybe that's why Jason hates me. Portland is 6-6. Utah is 4-8. How are they 10th? What is going on in the Western Conference? Oh, that's because there's a lot of disappointing teams. The Clippers 4-8. The Grizzlies 4-9. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. John Morant is loafing up and down the court. It is not looking good on both ends for him. Sacramento, the aforementioned Sacramento Kings, are 3-10. They have been real bad. Dallas, 3-10. New Orleans, 2-10. By the way, New Orleans, they just fired their coach. I'm pretty sure.
I did see that this morning.
Gosh, what was his name? What am I doing? The first name that came to mind for me was Alvin Gentry.
Willie Green.
Willie Green, that's right. I mean, Willie Green is, I think, a good coach, but he's in a tough situation over there. I don't think that New Orleans is ever going to be successful. But it is what it is. Jason said you really piss me off sometimes. It's because he said we won't be able to beat the Suns. That's very winnable. Only teams to worry about are San Antonio, Houston, and the Timberwolves. I said that they weren't going to win that game. Obviously they can. That's not the question. The real answer is, in this situation where Denver is down a couple of guys, Jokic is already questionable. But I know we're talking a month out. So my thinking is that Denver is going to have to work a lot harder in these situations, in these games over the course of the next 15 to 20, because Christian was a guy that worked really hard for them. He took on a lot of the tough burdens for that starting lineup from a defensive perspective. And so now everybody else has to really amp it up. And it means probably going to have some guys struggle. It wouldn't surprise me if Jamal Murray struggled a little bit offensively because he's working harder defensively. It wouldn't surprise me if Aaron Gordon struggles a little bit offensively because he's working harder defensively. And what I mean by the fact that they're going to lose to Phoenix is because it's just a game that they're going to overlook. It is. Objectively, they will overlook because they think that. Now, to be fair, let me give Jason some credit here. Jamal Murray has basically never lost to Devin Booker. Which is awesome, by the way. So it's all good. But I do think that Denver is in a situation now where it's not going to be easy for them. It's going to get harder. It's just going to get harder as the season kind of gets into that flow. And this is where you really separate between teams that are great and teams that are merely good during the regular season. I think that Denver's a great team. I do think that they are. So other teams in the West, man, the music did just pop in pretty loud.
Turn it up.
We'll have to hopefully we don't get DMCA'd here. But I do think that Denver's going to be fine. The rest of the West is tough, though. As you guys can see, there are 8 teams that are currently above 500, 8 other teams that have at least 8 wins. Denver's got 9 wins. Now, to be fair, they've only got 2 losses, and some of those teams have more. But the margin that Denver has created over those teams, like Portland, is 5.5 games back of OKC. Denver's 2 games back. They're only 3.5 games ahead of Portland, who is in 9th. So that's how the West is. Denver has to keep the pace on, and they've done a great job starting, but that's just how things go in the Western Conference. You have to maintain this pace if you want to be a 1, 2, or 3 seed. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing that they have to be able to do. Shout out to Rachel Strand, by the way. I see that comment popped up earlier. Ryan the GOAT. Thanks, Rachel. We got to get you on the show. We got to be able to do it. It would be cool to do a live pickaxe and roll from number 38 with Rachel here. That would be fun. Okay. Let's transition over to the Nuggets Timberwolves game, Danny. I think that there's plenty that they can get to, and I'm very excited to see what this team looks like. Minnesota, obviously, last night, they played the Kings on the first end of a back-to-back in the NBA Cup. They won. Let me go over the box score real quick to see how much they actually played. Danny, do you have an opinion on the ESPN box score changes that have taken place? I don't know if you've been able to see them lately, but it is just a jacked up mess of a box score. The minutes they're now back in the correct place. I've got a plugin.
Yeah, they fixed it, right?
Well, so I've got a plugin that is actually really good that has helped me kind of switch out of what's going on here. But I know on the app, the minutes were all the way on the right side, and I had to slide over to see who was actually playing. It was horrible, just a despicable change. Like, this is me using my harsh language, but it's completely deserved. Like, the first thing you want to see is the minutes on the left side. That's 100%. Like, if you're trying to track who's going to play, who's not going to play. Minnesota played all of their guys basically in between 30 and 35 minutes as their starters. Anthony Edwards played 36 minutes. He was very good. 30 points. He only went 1 of 7 from 3, but he was very efficient from 2, got to the free throw line a bunch. Like, the Kings are a mess defensively. They are not a good defense. But the rest of the Minnesota team, they're very good offensively as well. And it continues to stand out that like they're just like, even if it feels like they started slow, Denver got them at home or like on the road in the third game of the season. That was a very surprising result that they had, but very impressive because Murray went off for 40. Tim Hardaway went off. Jokic was great. That was great. It was an awesome game to watch. I kind of think that because Christian Braun's not going to be out there, because Cam Johnson's not going to be out there. I mean, Jokic is questionable for this game tonight. Not sure what the Timberwolves are going to be working with. I would assume that everybody plays. They're going to want to have a recovery game against Denver, division game, rivalry game, home game. They're probably going to play all of their guys if they possibly can. I would not expect them to do anything differently. Danny, when you think about without Christian Braun, without Cam Johnson, what's the biggest impact defensively for Denver when they're trying to guard a guy like Anthony Edwards, when they're trying to guard a guy who has given them a lot of trouble in the past, who they didn't face in the first Minnesota game, and that probably has a bearing on the result?
It's probably Spencer Jones, right?
Well,
I mean, it's either
maybe
Spencer Jones or Peyton Watson, I would say. I could see Bruce on him for a little bit, but I think it's better to have a little bit more size on Ant just because he's so explosive and he's a strong guy. But he gets to the line a lot. He's going to be attacking.
I was just going to say, like, that's the one worry that you have about playing Spencer Jones in this situation is that he does foul. He's a physical defender, and that's a good thing. You want guys who are physical defenders. But his reputation now, by the way, South Carolina's up 27-3 on number 3 ranked TAMU. I'm a go Cox, baby. But I do think that's the margin. That's the point of advantage that Denver potentially could have if they were able to hold Ant below his standard. But the problem is that the rest of that team, like Julius Randle, usually gives them fits. He didn't last game because like they had a pretty impressive performance against them. Jaden McDaniels usually gives them fits. Who are they going to use to guard Jaden McDaniels if they've got Spencer Jones guarding Anthony Edwards? Like, is it Tim Hardaway Jr.? Like, I kind of think that they start 2 defensive guys. I kind of think that like maybe they start Peyton Watson and Spencer Jones. How interesting would that make their defense in this situation?
You have so much offense between Jamal, AG, and Joker that you could probably get away with it. I want to believe you could do it, but you really got to have all 3 of those guys then on offense at the top of their game.
Yeah.
So, or Peyton Watson comes out there and starts whapping threes.
Whapping threes? Nice. Sick. Peyton Watson to start the season, for what it's worth. He has like underrated, not shot the ball well. Let's just get to that. 23.5% from 3 to start the season. On the year, he is 4 of 17 from 3-point range. Has not been good so far in that regard. Cam Johnson, 21%. Everybody's losing their minds that Cam Johnson is down at 21. Well, Peyton Watson's at 4 of 17, so it hasn't been much better. Christian Braun, by the way, 6 of 28, so they weren't exactly getting that spacing with him. Look, they're going to need somebody to step up. Maybe it will be Spencer Jones. Maybe it will be Bruce Brown. It wouldn't surprise me if he started. I kind of like the idea of Tim Hardaway off the bench, giving them that spark, kind of like he did in the first game against Minnesota, where you come in, you change the flow a little bit. You force the opposing team to adjust to you. Other guys that are probably going to pop into the rotation, Julian Strawther will get an opportunity. I did not like the way that Julian played in the Wednesday game. It was second night of a back-to-back, tough situation, probably didn't expect to play much, but he was not ready. And Denver's going to need him to get ready in this case. They're going to need him to be much better. And I'm looking forward to seeing whether he can do it or not. Like, this is what it's here for. This is what year 3 is supposed to be. It's, hey, you don't always get opportunities, but when you do, it's your responsibility, it's your obligation to take advantage of it. And I'm curious to see whether he can step up to the challenge, especially against a very good team in Minnesota, who's got guys like Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards off the bench. They'll probably on a second night of a back-to-back. Well, I mean, the 3 guys that they mostly played were Mike Conley, Jalen Clark, who's a defensive guy. One of the reasons why Jamal went off in that game against Minnesota was because Anthony Edwards didn't play and Jalen Clark didn't play. He's their main defensive guy, their main Nickeil Alexander-Walker replacement. And then they had Naz Reid, of course, who's just a monster off the bench as always.
Man, I love Naz Reid. I hate that he plays for the Wolves.
He would be so much more fun to root for if he didn't play for the freaking Timberwolves, man. It feels like Denver plays the Timberwolves every other week. That's because they do. That's because they do. But like they play them in the playoffs. They play them right when like Jokic has that 60-point triple-double and they go to double overtime, and then they find a way to lose that game magically. It was just horrible, but it was nice to see them get a win against Minnesota in the manner that they did on basically like first week of the season. Let's see if they can continue it. I'm curious to see what they put together. According to FanDuel, Danny, the Nuggets currently are 3-point underdogs in this game. 3-point underdogs. They have a plus money line of plus 120. Minnesota's -3 in this one, despite the fact that they are on the second night of a back-to-back. I think a lot of what's built into that line is because there's a question as to whether Jokic is going to play. If Jokic plays, you probably see that line go to about maybe Denver Nuggets +1. Maybe it's even, maybe somewhere in that range. But if Jokic doesn't play, then that line is probably going to go to Nuggets +8, +7, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, if you believe Jokic is going to play, and you are going to bet on the Nuggets to win, in that case, do it right now, because it will change.
It most certainly will. We'll see what happens with it. I'm very curious to see what the Nuggets are able to put together in this one. I always like to see how they handle adversity. Too often, though, like, and this is where I get a little bit worried, because a lot of times the mentality of this team is like, no, we're going to go. We're going to win. We're going to play hard. We're going to dominate. We're going to, just doesn't matter the circumstance that we're under. Fans really like that. Like, it's a really good thing. You always feel like the team has a chance because they've got Jokic, because they've got Murray, because they've got guys that rise to the occasion in challenging situations. That's good. If you do it too many times, you get really tired. You get real, and you could sustain even more injuries. Like, at some point, the Nuggets are going to have to find the right time to let off the gas. They're going to have to find the right time to not go all out, because like they've started the year pretty well, and it's been pretty easy for the most part. But this is right where it's starting to get challenging. The Tuesday game against Sacramento, where it wasn't really challenging, to be frank. But then the Wednesday back-to-back, I would have expected them to lose that game. Like, I think I had it on my bingo card that they were probably going to lose that one. But the Clippers are so horrible and just a despicable piece of human nature that they were able to that they were able to pull that one out. Usually in these situations, the Nuggets will drop one, they'll drop two, they will have a little bit of a pullback, and that's okay because it allows them to stay fresh. You just don't want to have to, like, I don't want to see Jokic play 38 minutes in order to earn a really hard-fought win on the road against a team that you probably could lose to and probably should lose to in this particular circumstance without a couple starters. However, they are a couple days off. They should be rested, and maybe this is an opportunity to steal one. Maybe this is a good opportunity for them to get a win that you probably wouldn't have expected them to get, and I'm curious to see what they bring to the table, Danny. It's going to be a fun night. Do you have a prediction for tonight's matchup?
This is one of the few true division rivalries left in the NBA.
Yeah,
because like you said, they play every week.
They play 27 times a year.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm always interested to see where Jokic's odds are for the triple double. Since we were talking about FanDuel,
let's check it.
It's plus 100 right now is what I'm seeing, which
That-
isn't great.
So here's the thing.
But
like,
that's,
yeah,
it's 100% profit if you hit it.
the funny thing is, so against the Clippers and the Timberwolves, he has the same tendencies where they like to guard him one-on-one. They do not like to double. They like to trust their bigs. And maybe they shade a little bit, but they're not necessarily full doubling, which it forces Jokic to be more aggressive. Now, he's pretty good at it now. He's pretty good at scoring now. I think that they'll probably try to change up the game plan a little bit, especially if, like, hypothetically Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson are both starting. Yeah, double Jokic and see if you can force those guys to beat you. Like, it seems like that's how I would play it personally. But yeah, like.
But if you got Hardaway out there and he's dishing it to Hardaway, I like that. I like that a lot because that's one place that I get concerned with the triple double.
Yeah,
it's not the rebounds, it's not the points. It's, are the Nuggets going to make the bucket when he passes them the ball so we can get enough assists? But I always like that one. So I don't know. I probably won't bet it tonight, but I'll wait and see if I can get some better value later in the season. I might not. It might end up being minus 200 at some point.
Jaden Daniels is plus 350 to go get 20 points. That go get that number. Go get that number right now, folks.
You said plus 350?
Plus 350.
Whew.
That's crazy. Jaden McDaniels is going to score, especially if the Nuggets are in a situation where they have to use their primary defender on Anthony Edwards, their secondary defender, if it's Tim Hardaway Jr. or if it's Bruce Brown or somebody else who's maybe a little undersized. Maybe it's Julian Strawther half the time. You're gonna want to take the Jaden McDaniels number, I think. So plenty of ways to have fun with this game. I think that Denver, oh man, do I want to predict a win and them going 10-2, having beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road twice to start the season? Oh man. Let's do it. Let's or actually, you know what? I'm the jinx guy. Like, I might as well like be the heel. I don't see any way. I don't see any way that the Nuggets get this one. I don't see any way. You're down a couple starters. Jokic is questionable. He probably isn't going to play. Like, we'll see what happens here. But I don't see any way the Nuggets get 2 wins in Minnesota. I mean, that would be crazy, right? That would be insane. So it's not going to happen. Don't get your hopes up too far, people. I think that Denver in a very interesting place and potential pullback opportunity for them on the road. So we'll see what happens. But Danny, I think that's going to do it for this episode, man. Fun episode. Really, really good time here. Yeah, good stuff. Always appreciate having you come down to number 38 and looking forward to hopefully a fun game tonight. Yeah. We'll see. Shout out to number 38. Thanks for having us. As always, we love to be here in the Mile High Sports studio. Thank you so much for tuning into the show, folks. Hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button on the way out as we continue putting on fantastic content for you. Thank you so much. I will talk to you guys on Monday.